is Richard Rudis, and my Tibetan name is Sonam Dorje. What I'm doing is using these instruments to introduce you to the Dharma. Not necessarily Tibetan Buddhist Dharma. I am a Tibetan Buddhist, but it's just a premise, a venue, a matrix to introduce you to some way of going through life that is kinder and gentler, and perceives that as that internal healer to access, to pull away the veils. These are 3 Himalayan instruments that we work with principally in vibrational healing. Tingshas, Gantas, Vashas, which is the silent partner, and the bowls themselves. And the bowls are remarkable instruments. Beyond remarkable. I think they stand in a category that is unique in the world of sound. Bowls interrelate to one another. So when you're playing, this is called the Theta body bowl, flat bottom, high rise. A very different signature than a Jan body bowl or Manipuri bowl. But together, they'll do things that they can't do by themselves. There's 5 voices, principally or generally. Obviously, they can be struck. If they're struck like this, with a padded stick, you're going to get a full range of the bowl, all the voices of the bowl. Like this brings out the lower portion, more of a gong-like experience. You can sing it. Change the dynamics, the size of our mouths, to change the vibrational signatures or the tonal range of the bowl. Allow it to move in. I see the sound as an elemental property, and staying in mind with that vibration, then the mouth moves, however the mouth moves. I don't add any of my own voice to it. I just use the voice of the bowls. Another way of using the instrument would be to take a bath. Get into that water, you float your bowl on top on that bath and strike it. The sound of that bowl is going to penetrate your physicality 5 times more effectively than through air. It is a trip. If you're using the Dead Sea salts, which is really remarkable stuff, I think 2 cups to a bathtub full. The more salts you put in, the less time you can spend in it. So 2 cups would probably be about 20 minutes. Another way of using the instrument, if you have a big enough bowl or a small enough head, you can take the bowl and put it on your head. And what it should do is come down pretty close to your ears, so it's a direct parallel to your ears. Obviously, you don't want your nose, the bridge of your nose, to touch it. But this silly looking way of using a bowl, once you've balanced it, this is your fire finger. You're projecting fire intentionally or subconsciously. That's why we don't like being pointed at, because we're projecting fire out. This, bliss finger. That's right. So next time you're on the highway and someone wishes you bliss. So while the bowl is on your head, are you projecting fire? Are you projecting bliss? Or a fire-bliss combination, perhaps? And just strike it softly. Physically, it is connected directly to my skeletal system. It is right on top of my pineal gland. The gland that is as if it was an eye, it would be focused upward, sort of a direct spiritual connection to something other than ourselves, some part of ourselves that is beyond the dualistic understanding. Below that is the pituitary gland that has so much to do with the parasympathetic and the sympathetic nervous systems. Also a direct relationship to the vagus nerve, or the wanderer nerve, that draws all the stimulation from the eardrum and connects all of your internal organs. It's a wonderful way of directly making contact, sort of a direct knowledge. And these instruments directly correspond, a sympathetic vibration with it. And once that connection is made, layers of confusion start to fall away. They're part of a very, very ancient technology. And what makes them work is that they're not specific, they're generalist. They're creating multiple overtones and harmonics that are spinning off and commingling and creating more harmonics and overtones. That's that key essence. Well, these instruments work on the 3 levels of consciousness, which is physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. It will alter your consciousness, and that is exactly what they're designed to do. It's as though this room was your biosphere. And this bowl, the Jambadi bowls, which are from the Tibetan plateau, the eastern border, the old ones anyway, that door there is your Jambadi bowl. That's the white Tara. And she's walking in through that door, through the Jambadi bowl, effectuating a change in you spiritually, mentally, naturally. And because we're interconnected, that causes physical healing. Whatever is going on is naturally dealt with. She comes in and naturally changes the biosphere. And so these instruments are tools within that mechanism that helps you get in touch with that white Tara, or that transcendent wisdom. Over there is green Tara. Green Tara is represented by the Theta body bowls. A very different sound signature. This has much more to do with physical existence, not transcendent wisdom. Green Tara enters the same room, changes you on a physical level, which obviously then naturally opens you up on a spiritual level. The mechanisms and the processes and the matrix of understandings are so grand and so wildly complex and mindful that it normally takes a couple of years for people to really grasp how to use these instruments effectively. I mean, we can all come up here and grab these instruments and be semi-effective. So effective that it may feel great, but it's the difference between a pickup truck to a BMW. And if you imagine the sound entering your body through your mouth, moving down that central core of energy, that is an accumulation of blockages, kind of moving things around. It's a Saraswati path, moving down to the Kundalini energy, the Kali energy that sits at the base of your spine. Kali usually wakes up with an attitude. She's angry, she's fire energy, and she moves up towards her consort here in the Soma chakra. It's Shiva. Shiva's calling to her, and she's saying, "Who dares to disturb my peace?" And she moves up with fire, but she moves up through the Saraswati source, and pretty soon she lets go of her ego. She joins her consort in the seat of understanding, compassion, and wisdom again. If you imagine the sound going down that Saraswati river, commingling with Kali energy, awakening her, prodding her, bringing it back up through that course, and then finally joining at the Soma chakra, which is a direct relationship to the pineal gland in your brain, then the practice is to essentially strike the bowl or sing the bowl, allow it to move in. If you use it in a meditative, mindful way, it opens worlds to you.